Biohazard warning. Entering contaminated zone.
Hey guys, Jacob here. It is currently June 15, 2020, and as you guys know, the patch notes for TU10 have been released, which we're going to be getting on the 16th, which is tomorrow, and then we'll be getting Season 2 later on, and then with the new raid. But I'm going to get right into it. The new season, which is Keener's Legacy. As you guys know, some of this stuff was already leaked, so you may already know some of this information. A new season is almost upon us, starting on June 23rd. Keener's Legacy offers 12 weeks of in-game activities and unique rewards. Season 2 brings a new seasonal manhunt, new leagues, a new global event, and unique rewards, as well as an apparel event. The new manhunt tasks you to take on 5 rogue agents over a 12-week period, starting at June 23rd. Bring down all 5 to unlock the new healing trap skill variant, which you guys can actually check out in the PTS. I don't think they were allowed to use it, but you can still take a look at it because it was in the Quartermaster. New global event Hollywood, new apparel event Phoenix Down, new leagues Termite, Luna, Huntsman, and Titan. New rewards, 2 new exotics, 1 new gear set, 2 new named weapons, 2 new named gear, and 1 new brand set. Participating in activities above will earn players season experience, contributing to their season level, which is conflict will contribute XP by gaining conflict levels beyond 30. Playing in the dark zone will contribute XP by gaining DZ levels beyond 30. And now to the new raid, which is Operation Iron Horse, which I know most of you guys are very excited for this, and I am as well. The True Sons have taken over a foundry to develop new weapons and threaten to destroy everything the division has worked for. New bosses, puzzles, and rewards, level 40 version available on June 30th, followed by the next week by the level 30 version. Discovery mode will be available at a later date. Unique rewards, 2 new exotics, 2 new gear sets, and the new cosmetic rewards, which if you guys are not aware, I'll actually pull these up for you now. This is the new Revenus rifle that we're going to be getting in the raid, and this is the new Regulus Pistol we'll be getting as well. So those are the 2 new exotics you'll be able to get, and there's also the new gear sets, which are the Foundry Bulwark and the Future Initiative, which is like a healer build and a shield build. New cosmetic rewards. Further details will become available closer to the release date in late June. Balance and bug fixes, which this is like the standard stuff. Missing localized audio, which I know someone was talking about the other day, actually in my party, saying there were some audio errors. The new exotics, which is the SRS sniper rifle, the Mantis, and these are the talents. Your scope view displays additional information about enemies not targeting you. So you basically can zoom in on enemies to get information about them when they're not attacking you. Your scope view highlights enemy weak points, which is really cool. Headshots and weak points damage against enemies not targeting you amplified by 50%. Headshot kills reset the cooldown of decoy skill. This bonus will wait until the decoy goes on cooldown if currently active. The one I like the most on this is the highlight enemy weak points, so maybe we could use this in the new raid to see some of the weak points of potentially maybe the new bosses. This is something to think about. The mask, which is the vial. Stats effects also apply a damage over time debuff for 10 seconds. Total damage dealt is equal to 50% of your concussion grenade damage and increased by your stats effect attributes. Next is going to be the double barrel rifle, the Ravenous Operation Iron Horse, which is the picture I just showed you guys of the new rifle. On trigger pull, fire both barrels at once. When fired from the right shoulder, hits at offensive primers and defensive primers when fired from the left shoulder. Hits from one shoulder will detonate all the opposite shoulder primers when present. When detonated or affected enemy is killed, each offensive primers deal 100% weapon damage, which each defensive primer grants 4% bonus armor and 10% amplified damage to armor plates for 5 seconds. Primer effectiveness is doubled at 10 stacks. So this is going to be a raid exclusive, as you guys can see right here. Next is going to be the next raid exclusive, which is the Regulus Pistol. Headshot kills create a 5-meter explosion, dealing 400% weapon damage and applying bleed to enemies hit. High accuracy and base damage. And now to the new gear sets. Eclipse Protocol, which is Season 2. Core skill tier is yellow, so this is a skill build. 15% stats effects, 50% skill haste, and 30% hazard protection. For indirect transmission, your stats effects now spread on kill to enemies within 15 meters and refresh at 50% of the duration. Chest talent is the Proliferation, which increases indirect transmission range from 15 meters to 20 meters and refresh percentage from 50% to 75%. Backpack talent is Symptom Aggregator, which amplifies all damage you deal to stats affected targets by 15%. So this is actually really cool, but I could see a lot of people getting mad about this. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but we'll have to see when it comes out. This basically your stats effects now spread on kill to enemies in 15 meters. So I guess if you kill someone in the DZ, it could spread, but I see this mostly being used in PvE. And this is going to be really cool, so if you're fighting big groups of NPCs and you have a stats effect on them, like bleed or something, and you kill them, it can now spread to them, kind of like Predator. At least that's kind of what I get the idea from this. Or you could use something like Creeping Death on a gear set. Foundry Bulwark, which is going to be the new shield build. Core attribute is blue, which I'm not surprised by that. Most of you guys already know this. 10% armor, 3% armor regeneration. Makes your repairs whenever you or your shield takes damage. 20% of that amount is repaired to both over 15 seconds. Process Refinery increases makes your repairs from 20% to 30% over 15 seconds. Backpack Talent improved materials increases makes your repairs from 15 seconds to 10 seconds. And as you guys know, if you've seen some of the videos that were posted on the PTS, this gear set was actually really broken, and it appears they fixed it, so it's not as OP as it was in PvP, and it seems to be probably a really good shield build for PvE, to the fact that you're going to be able to have at least 3% armor generation. So if you combine this with something that gives you armor generation, say if you have, all blue Murakami knee pads, and you use this, then you could get some more armor generation as well, and I can see a lot of combos being made with this gear set. Next is going to the one I'm mostly excited about, and that's the Future Initiative, which is a skill build. 30% repair skill, 30% skill duration, and 15% skill haste. Ground control increases you and your allies' total weapon damage by 15% when at full armor. When you repair an ally, you and all allies within 5 meters are also repaired for 60% of that amount. Chest Talent, Tactical Superiority increases ground control damage bonus from 15% to 25%. Backpack Talent, Advanced Combat Tactics increases ground control proximity repair from 60% to 120. So I could see this being used a lot for farming through heroics and legendaries, and also people are probably going to get their hands on the new raid because we don't really know what's going to be thrown at us, but we do know some of the bosses because they were elite, so this is going to be really nice to have in the game. The new brand set, which is the Walker Harris, which is a DPS brand set, which I'm really excited about this one because it's DPS. As you guys know, I love DPS builds. Core attributes, which is weapon damage red, you get 5% weapon damage, 5% damage to armor, and 5% damage to health. So if you want to make a weapon damage and a damage to armor build, you can pretty much run all three of these and have some pretty nice bonuses, or just 1 and 2 and have weapon damage and damage to armor. The new named weapons, which is the Mechanical Animal, aka the SIG 556 with Future Perfection. Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 19 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds. Overcharge cooldown is 90 seconds. Next is the Harmony, aka the Resolute MK47 with Perfect in Sync. Hitting an enemy grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Damage increases are doubled while both buffs are active at the same time. And both these, I could see them being used a lot. This one, obviously, for hybrid style builds for healing and skill damage. And this one being used for people who are using skill builds. And just hitting an enemy grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. So if you're shooting an enemy, then you drop Seekers. And you have a really high skill build, then you essentially can just throw some Seekers out or a skill and get that 20% extra skill damage. The new named gear, which is the Matador, Walker Harris Company and Backpack with Perfect Adrenaline Rush, which is when you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 23% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Cooldown is 5 seconds. Chain Killer, which is on Walker Harris as well, which is the chest, with Perfect Headhunter. After killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hits 30 seconds, deal 150% of that killing load damage in addition to it. Damage is capped to 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised to 1,250 if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. New skill variant, which is Repair Trap. The Repair Trap deploys a line of small devices capable of repairing friendlies in their proximity. Note, the Repair Trap will not be able to in-game until the Season Prime target unlocks in August. So we're going to have to wait all the way to August to kill the main target, and then we'll be able to get the trap. So sadly, we will not be able to use this in the raid right off the bat, which I kind of figured. New talents, Future Perfect. Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 15 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds. Overcharge cooldown is 90 seconds. In Sync, which these are the normal versions, by the way, hitting an enemy grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill or damaging enemy within a skill grants 15% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Damage increases are doubled while both buffs are active at the same time. Backpack Talent Adrenaline Rush, which is the one I'm really excited about to use this. When you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Cooldown is 5 seconds. So if you're face tanking enemies or players, I'm really looking forward to this because it's just going to be able to give you 20% armor. So also if you have a bunch of enemies near you, if they get right in your face, you'll be able to get a little bonus armor to not get melted. Next is going to be chest talent, which I know a lot of people who use snipers are very excited for, is Headhunter. After killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit deals, within 30 seconds, deals 120% of that killing blow's damage to addition to it. Damage is capped at 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised to 1,250 if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. Gameplay changes. Reduced how many elites will spawn in the following missions, which you guys can see right here. The loot, which I know is a big thing everyone's talking about in general, added all new Season 2 weapons and gear to general loot pools. Item power, updated item power distributed to a better spread between minimum and maximum for difficulties. Increased minimum rolled item power for field proficiency, DZ caches, claim caches, and season caches. The difficulty scaling, regular loot from loot containers and missions now scale with the mission difficulty. Targeted loot from loot containers and missions now scale the mission difficulty. Same goes with the living world activities now scaled global event. And this one makes me really happy because that way hopefully we'll no longer get purples in heroic missions. Targeted loot, increased targeted loot drop chances for all missions and control point difficulties. Added 2 new season brand to target loot rotation. Warlords New York brands can now also show up in the target loot in DC, including Dark Zones. So if you guys are trying to get Sombra or Siska pieces, they now can pop up in the DZs or other missions. That way you don't have to go all the way to New York. Named item increased named item drop chances in regular Dark Zone loot, and named item drop chance in the target loot everywhere. Exotics. Added Warlords New York Season 1 exotics, excluding the Bighorn, to targeted loot. Added Warlords New York Season 1 exotics, excluding the Bighorn, to general loot, exotic loot pools. And Coyote Mass Drop from Coyote no longer has a minimum season level requirement. Control points removed regular weapon gear loot containers, not scaling difficulty from control points. Increase the amount of scaling loot from big control point reward containers. Legendaries increase NPC loot drop chance from veteran and elite on legendary difficulty. Crafting will now guarantee a higher minimum item power, resulting in a higher overall stat roll, and increased maximum item power that allows for better crafted items than before, and added weighted between minimum and maximum power results and more balanced average outcome for crafted and reconfigured items. Removed Final World Tier 5 crafting bench upgrade, and its power increase is now redundant. Vendors added named items to both open world and DZ vendors. That's really nice to see. Increased price for named items. Not surprised that was on the PTS. Increased item power for vendors. Vendors no longer sell superior quality items at maximum level, so no more purples at the vendors. Shade level added field proficiency cache to SHD level up after reaching the maximum season level. Increased crafting material rewards for spinning SHD levels in the scavenging category, which is really nice. Conflict added season HHD experience gain on conflict level up. So now you'll be able to get SHD experience for doing conflict. Rogue agent encounters. Every rogue agent kill will now drop loot. Rogue agent encounters no longer occur during time trials, which that's really nice. Control point officers. Players revived by a control point officer will now have 80% health, their armor restored, previously 0. Reduce the likelihood of control point officers being down in combat. The bounties. Bounties acquired by speaking to characters in the open world always set the difficulty at the time of the acquisition or higher. The effects of the snitch and civilians rescued during the public execution or rescue living world activities. Scheduled bounties such as daily and clan bounties are unaffected. Here's some of the projects. New season pass holder project slot. Season pass holders now have access to an exclusive daily mission, which provides a bonus XP. Weekly SHD requisition project slot. In-game players at World Tier 5 and Level 40 have a weekly supply donation project, which rewards them with an exotic cache. For World Tier 5 players, this replaces a previously daily SHD requisition project. Legendary mission project. After TU10, completing any legendary mission will grant you a weekly legendary mission project slot. Completing the designated legendary mission will reward you with an exotic cache. I actually don't have the picture, but it does say at the legendary cache, if you guys look up some photos on it, that you have to donate a bunch of materials for the daily acquisition, or for the weekly one. And that way, I think it's like 500 ceramics is one of the requirements, which is a lot of ceramics. So make sure you guys have your stuff loaded up all the way and have a bunch of materials. That way you can just turn it in and you'll be good to go. RPG balancing incoming repairs. Incoming repairs no longer increase the amount of armor repaired by armor kits, talents, or gear set effects. Weapon handling. 1% weapon handling now gives 1% accuracy, stability, reload speed, and swap speed, up from 0.25%. Reduce the maximum amount of weapon handling rolled gear by 6% to a maximum 8 at level 40. 8% accuracy, stability, swap speed, and reload speed. Talent changes, leadership bonus armor increase at 15 from 12. Spike skill damage duration increase from 15 seconds to 8. Reformation skill repair duration increase from 15 seconds from 8. Creeping Death no longer goes on cooldown if there are no valid enemies nearby to apply a status effect. 2 status effects applied now properly copy the source status effect damage and duration. PvP, global damage modifiers reduce all PvP weapon damage by -20%. Increase marksman rifle PvP damage by 12.5. Reduce assault rifle by -15. Reduce shotgun by -12. And reduce SMG PvP damage by -10, pistol by -10, and rifle by -5. Specific damage modifiers increases double barrel shotgun PvP by 16.6. Reduce pestilence PvP damage by -10. I saw that one coming. Reduce classic M1A damage by -5%. Exotic modifiers, merciless and ruthless binary trigger unified weapon damage explosion damage reduced by -50% PvP. Dodge City Gunslinger Holster damage is lowered from 2% from 1. And stacks gain per second PvP now match the PvE value from 0.56 to 0.3. Imperial Dynasty no longer automatically applies burn stats effects to nearest enemy in range. Now requires maintaining a range in line of sight for 3 seconds between the holster bearer and the nearest enemy before applying burn stats effect. Add a visual UI feedback to reveal the radius of the effect in PvP and an indicator for line of sight between holster bearer and nearest enemy. Pestilence, play the outcast damage overtime effect. No longer affects triggers of True Patriot. White debuff armor repair effect for PvP and PvE. Gear set modifiers. Negotiators allow to reduce the range at what marked enemies targets can take damage from each other when critically hit to 15 meters. PvP only. Talent modifiers, efficient and versatile, which I talked about this a little bit in another video if you guys remember. Reduce specialization armor kits from 100% to 50%, so you will not be seeing versatile and efficient builds as much. And versatile got changed. Shotguns, SMGs got from 35 to 25. So if you use like LMGs or something like an AR, you're pretty much fine. But if you were using shotguns, SMGs, I'm sorry, it got nerfed a little bit. Vanguard reduced the duration of shield vulnerability from 5 seconds to 2 seconds. No, UI will still show the old duration, but will be fixed later in an update. Firewall, the Matrix Mesh Armor region strength reduced from -50% from 200 to 150. Skill modifiers, Pulse now correctly reveals and highlights all players in the DZ, not just hostile rogues. Which is really nice. I'm happy they did that. Increase striker doe damage by 30%. Increase salt turret damage by 55%. Reduce Firestarter kill launcher PvP by -20. Reduce bleed damage from Stinger Hive, Mortar Turret, and Explosive Secret Mines by 75%. Increase Stinger Hive damage by 20%, scaling up to 55%. It's skill tier 6. So they buffed the Stinger Hive for you guys who like to use it, but they also reduced the bleed for it because I know everyone was using that in the DZ. Now I'm not going to know all these, but if you guys are curious, these are some of the weapons that got buffed. If you guys want to just look at them. Here's the LMGs, the marksman rifles, the rifles, SMGs, the shotguns, the sidearms, and here's some of the exotic changes. The Bighorn increased damage by 11.2%, increased optical range from 27 meters to 40 meters. Optics mod bonus increased from 0% to 30% headshot damage. Magazine mod bonus changed from 7% headshot damage to 10% reload speed. Add a functionality that provides additional headshot damage. Full talent is now, when scoped, switches to semi-mag fire mode, dealing 450% weapon damage with each shot. New, which is the new part of this gun, headshots grant 2% headshot damage, stacking up to 50 times. Resets to 0 at full stacks. Eagle Bear, damage increased by 7%. Underball mod changed from 10% stability to 10% weapon handling. The Chameleon, which is the big one, which I know a lot of you guys are very excited about, damage increased to 32.8. Optics mod, bonus change from 15% accuracy to 15% critical chance. Muzzle change from 5% chance to 20% accuracy. Underbarrel mod change from 10% critical chance to stability. Optical range increased by 33.3% from 20. Long range effectiveness increased by 19% from 42 meters to 50. Add a functionality that retains your current buff to the next combat encounter when buff or when combat ends. Full talent is now hitting 30 headshots grants 20% critical chance and 50% critical damage for 45 seconds. Hitting 75 body shots grants 90% weapon damage for 45 seconds. And her hitting 30 leg shots grants 150% reload speed bonus for 45 seconds. Buff refreshes when out of combat, which is new. But 90%, they actually buffed it more. I actually forgot about that. Originally it was 80, but also you have to hit 75 body shots instead of 60, but that's 90% damage on this gun. And they did buff it by 32%, so a lot of you guys who want to use the Chameleon, it's now probably going to be viable, and you'll be able to use it. Bullet King increased by 2.6. Nemesis damage increased by 11.1. Optics mod bonus increased from 35 to 45% headshot damage. And the Underbarrel mod reduced from 15% to 5% weapon handling. The Liberty Optic mod bonus changed from 5% critical chance to 5% headshot damage. Muzzle mod bonus changed from 15% stability to 5% critical chance. Magazine mod bonus changed from 50% reload speed to 15% weapon handling. Add new functionality that provides extra damage if you're trying to keep stacks. Full talent is now new. Hits grant 2% weapon damage, stacking up to 30. Headshots consume all stacks, repairing your shield for 3% per stack. No longer highlights enemy weak points when aiming. Merciless and Ruthless. Damage increased by 12.5%. Muzzle mod bonus reduced from 20% to 10%. Underbarrel mod reduced from 20 to 10. And the magazine mod reduced from 15% to 10. Reload speed. Added functionality provides extra non-explosive damage as well. Full talent is now weapon fires on trigger pull and release. If both bullets hit the same enemy, gain a stack. New at 7 stacks, shooting an enemy deals 500% amplified damage and creates a 7-meter explosion, dealing 500% weapon damage consuming the stack. So now you guys have a 500% amplified damage shot with the explosive. Diamondback damage was increased by 7.7. Text type to clarify new target isn't marked until after 5-second buff. Damage increased by 11% for the Lullaby and Sweet Dreams. Lady Death increased by 18.9%. They changed the optic bonus from 5 to 10. The muzzle from 5% to 5% critical damage. The underbarrel from 5% critical damage to 500% melee damage, which I know a lot of people are going to be using this with the Claws Out holster. Breathe Free lowered from amount of maximum stacks from 40 to 32, and increased the damage implies per stack from 60 to 75. Chatterbox damage increased by 16.7. Optics mod bonus from 5 to 15% critical chance. Muzzle mod changed from 10% critical chance to 5% critical damage. Underbarrel mod bonus reduced from 5% or 15% to 10% weapon handling. Muzzle mod bonus changed from 10% reload speed to 10 rounds. And the magazine base capacity reduced from 60 to 50. Pestilence muzzle mod bonus changed from 10% stability to 10% accuracy. And the underbarrel mod bonus changed from 10% weapon handling to 10% stability. Ninja Bike knee pads added new functionality, adds bonus armor. Full talent is now performing a cover-to-cover or vaulting reload your drawn weapon, and grants 25% bonus armor, which is really nice because I know a lot of people don't really use this because they just have reload speed and they reload their guns really fast, so it's nice they did add a little bit of something to this. Dodge the Gunslinger Holster added a functionality that makes you do headshot damage. Full talent is now when your pistol is holstered, gain a stacking buff every 0.3 seconds up to 100. When you swap to it, your first shot consumes the buff and deals 10% damage per stack. New, this deals headshot damage to anywhere you hit. BTSU gloves change the functionality, no longer grant group raid wide members overcharge unless you're at skill tier 6. So people who are like one-shotting the bosses using pulses and stuff, looks like you're going to have skill tier 6 to proc that. Grants 15% high skill haste, which is really nice. Detonating a hive refreshes your skill cooldown and grants overcharge for 15 seconds if at skill tier 6. This effect also applies to allies. Allies receiving this effect are unable to benefit from it again for 120 seconds. So your knee pads cannot be staggered by explosions. Increases total weapon damage by 3% each second you are not moving. Stacks up to 10 until you start moving. All stacks are lost after 10 seconds after moving. So now you can actually move a little bit and still have some stacks. Gear set changes. Feedback loop on hardwired no longer refreshes the cooldown of a skill, but instead reduces it up by 30 seconds. Ongoing directive hollow point bullet ammo is no longer dropped on kill, but instead automatically added to your active weapon when killing stats afflicted enemies. Backpack talent new trauma specialist increases duration of your bleed stats effect by 50%, and all bleed damage done by 100%. Increases the 3-piece reload speed bonus from 20% to 30%. Tip of the Spear PvE aggressive recon weapon now damage buff is now gained when dealing specialization weapon damage instead of specialization weapon kill. Aggressive recon PvP weapon damage buff is now gained when dealing grenade damage instead of a grenade kill. Backpack talent new signature moves increases specialization weapon damage by 20% and doubles the amount of specialization ammo carried by aggressive recon. Ace innate new talent poker face backpack talent is now a baseline effect. Flip an additional card on headshot. New backpack talent ace in the sleeve amplifies 1 extra shot when revealing your hand. 3-piece headshot damage bonus is now additive rather than multiplicative. Increased 3-piece headshot damage bonus from 20% to 30%. System corruption now repairs 20% in addition to granting 50% bonus armor, which is really nice. Increases total weapon damage by 1% per 5-second bonus armor gained up to 20, which is really cool. The main one I know a lot of you guys are excited about is Striker. Main talent, reduce the number of stacks lost to missed shots from 3 to 2. No longer reduces, which is the backpack talent, reduces number of stacks lost shots. New increases the total weapon damage gain. Striker's gimel from 0.5% to 0.65%, which is insane. Negotiates limit damage transfers on initial bullet, then marks a new target. Increased 3-piece repair bonus from 15 to 30 on hardwired. On Alp Summit, which some of you guys already know this already. 1-piece repair is now 15 to 20. 2-piece Murakami is now 15 to 20. Richter and Kaiser is 15 to 20. And incoming repair bonus is 15 to 20. Providence got changed from 10 to 15. Headshot, same goes for Raldi's and Sombra. So those are all changed. Overlord, 2-piece accuracy is now 10% to 20. Douglas and Hardy is 10% to 20 stability and 20% accuracy as well for the 3-piece. Fenris is now stability and reload speed is now 20% on both. The gunner specialization implement talent weapon handling bonus reduces from 15 to 10. Note, the UI will incorrectly say it adds 50% weapon handling. This will be fixed in a future update. Skill changes, Stinger High Motor Turret and Explosive Seeker's Mine now display its bleed damage and duration. Seeker Mines, cluster Seeker Mines targeting accuracy improved. And you can see some of the more stuff on the high. Stinger Hive base damage reduced by -20. Stinger Hive damage bonus per skill tier increased from 10% to 20%. Chem Launcher, Riot Foam Chem Launcher and snare duration bonus per skill reduced from 20% to 10. Reinforcer Chem Launcher UI has been updated to clarify its initial heal only affects allies and not skill user. The functionality has not changed. Firefly, Blinder Firefly bonus damage bonus per skill tier reduced from 20% to 10. Blinder Firefly base blind duration reduced from 6 to 5 seconds. Banshee Pulse cooldown increased from 20% to 30. Banshee Pulse base confuse duration reduced from 5 seconds to 4. Jammer Pulse disrupt duration reduces from 4 seconds to 30. And the Shock Trap base shock duration reduced from 5 seconds to 3. PvP duration remains unchanged. Shock Trap base radius increased from 2 meters to 2.5, so it's been increased a little bit. When the active duration ends, its cooldown is refunded to equal number of seconds that it was active. There's more stuff here if you guys want to read through this. It's a developer comment, and here's some of the bug fixes as well. You guys want to read through these. I'm not going to go every single one of them, but you guys can read through them if you want to and pause the video. And here's some of the known issues. And that appears that's going to be pretty much about it for the patch notes for TU10, which will be dropping tomorrow, which I will be making a video on for you guys as well, and testing out a few things and talking about them. Overall, that's about it, guys. I know this video is pretty long, but that's all the patch notes, and I wanted to go through them with you guys so you can be prepared for tomorrow, which is going to be TU10. But thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys all later.